A final salute to a fallen hero. Thousands of police officers from the Bay Area and beyond line the streets to say goodbye to San Jose officer Michael Johnson. A thank you from the community he died trying to protect.
From a poignant procession inside a packed SAP Center to a standing ovation, touching tributes to a beloved husband, uncle, and friend.
All ending with a solemn flyover, a haunting reminder that safety comes at a price. Good evening, I'm Alan Martin.
And I'm Veronica Dela Cruz, in tonight for Elizabeth Cook. We have team coverage of today's memorial, starting with Len Ramirez, with how the officer was remembered. Len?
Well, it's been 9 days since the death of Officer Johnson, and it was, by all accounts, a very fitting and moving tribute here at the SAP Center today. They stood at attention to give one of their own a final salute. San Jose police officer Michael Johnson, killed in the line of duty. It was an emotionally charged ceremony inside the darkened SAP Center, where thousands came from as far away as New York to pay tribute to Johnson.
Death did not make you a hero. You were already a hero while you lived.
Officer Johnson was ambushed on March 24th as he arrived on the scene of a despondent man who was armed with a rifle.
As a police chief, you never want to get that call.
Police Chief Larry Esquivel called it a horrific event, but one that has galvanized and strengthened San Jose.
Made that nameless feel of a large city feel like more of a small, close-knit town, the old San Jose.
Johnson was remembered as a dedicated officer who was in his element every day he wore the badge.
Officer Johnson, or Mike as we know him, dedicated 14 years of his life to the most noble of professions.
Whenever Mike and I played cops and robbers as kids, he always insisted on being the cops,
but it was Johnson's older sister who tugged at the heartstrings and represented the family. Officer Johnson was 38 years old.
Mike, we will not only miss you, you have left an emptiness in our lives that cannot be refilled. Today and every day we will honor you. Rest in peace, my little brother.
It was a very public tribute today at the SAP Center, but Veronica, following the events here, there was a private burial service for the family only at Oak Hill Memorial Park.
All right, Len, thank you. And officers from around the country came to pay tribute to Officer Johnson. KPX5's Maria Medina has that part of the story. Maria?
And Veronica, it has been such an emotional day for the San Jose Police Department. Some officers I spoke to said, they just didn't want to go on camera to do an interview because they thought that they would just lose it. But they are so grateful and so thankful for the support from the law enforcement community.
He died doing exactly what he loved to do.
From those who knew him to those who never met Officer Johnson.
Well, it impacts all of us deeply.
The law enforcement community stood together today to say goodbye to one of their own.
It's nice to see so many agencies from across the country show up and honor Mike.
Forward, march!
They came from across the state and across the country, a tradition in the law enforcement world to support a department, a family, and community of a fallen hero.
It's tragic because it's something you don't want to have to do.
He was an all-star. He's a one-percenter.
Lieutenant Randy Schriefer supervised Officer Johnson and said he wore his uniform with pride. They say he died doing what he loved.
I want to give Mike a standing ovation for the life that he lived and for the life that he gave.
And I know a lot of officers left the SAP Center to get together, to be there for one another today. A lot of them going to fundraisers at businesses for Officer Johnson's family. Live in San Jose, Maria Medina, KPIX5.
Well, police officers from other Bay Area departments were patrolling San Jose streets during today's funeral. This photo, posted to Twitter, shows the unusual morning briefing. You can see all those officers wearing different uniforms from their various departments. They were briefed on what to keep an eye on and where patrols were needed. A fundraiser is underway right now to help the family of Officer Johnson. They set up overflow tents to handle crowds expected tonight at Britannia Arms in San Jose. The all-day fundraiser is being held at the pub's 2 locations, and all the proceeds will go directly to Michael Johnson's family.
We felt it was the right thing to do is help this family out that's going through a tough time right now, raise as much money as we can, make sure that that's not a problem for them or they have to worry about that.
As part of the event, these cupcakes were made with Officer Johnson's badge number. The San Jose Earthquakes will also hold a fundraiser for the Johnson family. They'll put on a special Easter egg hunt after their game on Sunday.
And it wasn't just police officers lining the streets to remember Michael Johnson. KPIX5's Christian Hartnett with neighbors, even school kids, who came out to show their support. Christian?
Well, we're here on Winchester Boulevard, less than a mile away from where this procession started at 10 a.m. And if you follow the route all the way to the SAP Center, you'll see signs like this on the side of the road showing support for Officer Johnson and his family, as well as tokens of appreciation for the San Jose Police Department. A lot of tears and emotion today from people who didn't even know Officer Johnson personally. Well, there's the hearse carrying Officer Johnson's body on Winchester Boulevard in Campbell. The motorcade roared through as people gathered on the sidewalk and watched in silence. More than 300 students at St. Lucy's Catholic Church stood outside with American flags in hand. Some watched with their hands over their hearts, others saluting the motorcade. Many of the people here today say they just want to show their appreciation.
I know it's very difficult probably for the family, and it's just good to see a lot of people supporting the police.
This is such a tragic event, but it's also an amazing sacrifice, and I want to pray that the officers of the valley here continue to remove violent criminals from our streets.
Well, many law enforcement officers from all over the Bay Area and the country were on hand for the funeral today. There were also firefighters, police dispatchers, and retired servicemen and women watching and saluting from the sidewalk as well. And obviously the death of Officer Johnson hitting very close to home for some of the people that we spoke with on the sidewalks today. One woman was especially emotional. We'll tell you why, and you'll meet her at 6 o'clock. For now, live in Los Gatos, Christian Hartnett, KPIX 5.